And it's Monday, y'all, and I hope everybody had a good weekend, a great Thanksgiving. That is for everybody except Chicago Bears fans, of course. I'm excited. I want to do emergency pod because there's so much going on, but I'm actually in talks right now with National Coney Island. We're working out the small details, but if I take off my shirt next Monday on the pod, everybody in Metro Detroit's going to get free Coney dogs. So I'm working on that. So if you got anybody has a contact at National Coney Island, hit them up. Let's get it going. But to talk more about this, I got my main man, Jersey Fred. Jersey Fred is brought to us by Comfort Plus Heating and Cooling. Jersey Fred, what is popping, my brother?
Oh man, been a crazy weekend, man.
Yeah.
All over.
Been all over. Fred was actually here in Michigan and now is back in Jersey, coming back to Michigan tomorrow, then flying to California, all in the next 2 days.
Yes. It was a crazy week in Michigan. Got to go out to dinner with you and Sarah. Good time.
We were at dinner for like 3 hours. Shout out to Bills of Bloomfield. First time there, was awesome.
The old Fox and Hound.
The old Fox and Hound.
Yes. Great place. Long Lake, Woodward.
Yeah, right Long Lake and Woodward. I liked the place. I really did. I thought it was really cool. We sat there for 3 hours, BSing, having some good food. Fred and I take a bunch of appetizers. We share them, have a good time. But I do miss those dinners, Fred, when you guys are in town. So obviously, we get a whole month of Fred and Mary coming up here because they're going to be in town for the holidays. So I'm excited about that.
Yes, we did a little review, a little food review, which is amazing. Will be coming.
It's going to be a good one.
Went downtown Wednesday night. Drinks at London Chop House, dinner at Caucus Club, drinks at the Shelby. Not for us.
No,
it was
younger vibe.
It was younger and nobody vibe. Like it was like empty, and they were like turning people away at the door. So like when we were waiting to get in, we were like, damn, they just turned away like a group of like 6 girls. I'm like, oh, this place must be popping.
Right.
Like, and they're like, well, hold on, just wait. We got to get your table ready. Like, I'm like, oh, this place is slamming. Like, we go in there, there's just empty tables everywhere. And and then I was like, what the hell? Like, what is the vibe? Like, I don't know. So, shout out to the Caucus Club was amazing as always.
What'd you get?
I got the awesome Boca, which is awesome. Everyone enjoyed their meals. Everything was great there. I was glad that they put us in the back. Have you ever been to the Caucus Club?
Yeah, I've been there a couple times.
Okay, the back bar area. They seated us back there just because, you could be loud and shit. Like,
you were with an unruly group too, so that helps to keep you guys in the back.
Yes. So, but it was freezing downtown. Then we come to Thanksgiving.
So Fred,
before we talk about the game.
Okay. Because Fred was at the game. Those of you who follow, if you're new to the pod, Fred goes every year Thanksgiving. I hooked Fred up with some tickets. Shout out to my boy Big John from Rent a Husband, who set Mary and Freddie up with his club level seats. But tell us about the pre part of the game, the tailgate part of the game, the actual game. Fill us in what it was like to be there. And then I'm going to jump in and kind of give you my thoughts on the game and where I think this team is and what needs to happen.
Now, as an outsider, I've told you this plenty of times. Before I moved to Michigan, even living in New Jersey, not knowing I would ever be in Michigan, always wanted to go to the Thanksgiving game. Always.
Yeah. Tradition like no other.
As a kid, I wanted to go to one year I wanted to go to Dallas. One year I wanted to go to Detroit. And, my parents would be like, what the fuck are you talking about? So finally I ended up moving to Metro Detroit, and and I got to go. So I've been going, like you said, every year. As an outsider, it's amazing. I don't think that it's just a Lions game. I think it's an event.
Yeah,
I think you can couple that, like when people say, "Oh, I want to visit like all the stadiums and stuff like that." I think this is something that can be like coupled into that whole experience of stadium things. I think experiencing the Thanksgiving game is a whole event within itself. Um, it's like you want to go to Green Bay, you want to go to you want to see Lambeau. You did, that was
yep,
awesome.
right,
Stuff like, I think that instead of people just saying, "Oh, I want to see Ford Field," you want to see Ford Field on Thanksgiving. Like you want to see the Thanksgiving game.
yeah,
The vibe is crazy. The atmosphere is just there's a lot of like energy, right?
for sure.
Um, Now, if you want the full experience, I would suggest that too. You get down there 9:30. You watch the parade. You walk over to the field. That is kind of cool if you got kids and stuff like that. But just the vibe of like walking into the stadium on Thanksgiving is just, it doesn't matter what the record is. And I know
That's very true. That's
I know
very true.
you're going to talk about like the ramifications of the game and stuff like that, but it doesn't matter. It's just it's it's a big game no matter what. Like now, obviously, in the last couple of years, with them having a good record and being at the top of the division stuff, obviously it means a little bit more. But
For sure.
I always felt, even 10 years ago, when they weren't that good, I felt like it still meant a lot. Like Um, but yes, I love everything about it. The seats are incredible. Shout out to John. The suite level, amazing seats. Like, it was just, it's just a great. I love it. I have
Yeah.
nothing bad to say about the Thanksgiving game. Halftime, amazing. Um,
Oh yeah, yeah. I didn't even put that in the notes because I was so wrapped up in the Lions. On TV, electric, absolutely awesome. What was the vibe inside the stadium when Eminem came out?
well, the thing about being in the stadium is the stage wasn't really lit up, so it was kind of hard to like see them. It was
Okay.
dark on the field, so which was weird. But so you watching the screen was actually better.
Okay.
You
Oh,
know,
you mean from a perspective of in the field, you're watching the jumbotron rather than watching the actual field of the musicians.
yeah, because you couldn't see them. It was real dark, and there was
Okay.
lights down there like shining on the crowd ish. It was hard to see them on the stage. But then when he announces M, I mean, the place just went bananas. Like,
Right. For sure. Everyone had to have been hyped.
yeah, so that was a special treat for everybody. The game didn't end the way that that Detroit fans wanted it to. I think that was the only negative in the whole day at the whole event for Detroit fans. For me as an outsider, I mean, yes, I would like the Lions to win. It's it's my wife's team, my friends and family's team and stuff like that. But it didn't go their way. I did text you right after about me walking out of the stadium and hearing the fans chit chatting.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Already
Well, let me
complaining.
let me ask this before we get into the actual game. Going as much as you have, and in this particular game, is there a different vibe of the team now than there was 6 years ago there, or do you feel like it's the Thanksgiving as a tradition? Like, is there something different, or is
I
it for you as an outsider? Is it Thanksgiving in Detroit?
had honestly, every year I've went, you could have told me they were 15-0.
Fair. Yeah.
That's the vibe you get. Like, you go in there and it's just like it. It's a big game. Like,
Yeah.
like, and like I said, 10 years ago, even when if they were 3-11 at the time, or it didn't even matter. It felt like they were 15-0. Like,
Yeah.
like it didn't matter who they were playing, what the record was. Like, that's why when I say like to the folks who like try to see every stadium and do things like that, I think that like seeing a game at Ford Field on Thanksgiving is a must. Like,
Yeah.
It's just a crazy experience, and I know it's kind of hard. It's a hard game to go to when you live out of state. Like,
Yeah.
as an NFL fan and stuff, it's probably not the easiest one to get to or go to. But if by all means, downtown is amazing. That whole the week of, that.
Yeah.
They have amazing places where you can eat Thanksgiving now,
Mhm.
because of the game.
Right.
There's a ton of those restaurants that run Thanksgiving now.
Yeah.
The
Which is
restaurants where we have went, like,
yeah.
like
For sure.
good restaurants that are running like Thanksgiving now. So like, you don't have to like walk into the basement burger bar after the game. Like,
Right. Yeah. You can
you
have a good
can,
meal.
you can if you want. But like, yeah, it's just a great day, and I love it every year. I look forward to it. I get fired up. Another thing is, Brett, I have no skin in the game.
Right. Which
I'm
is which is cool to see your excitement about the event without having skin in the game. Like you take what you feel and be a Lions fan, and it's magnified by 100.
and I said to Mary after the game, I said, if I grew up out here, a Lions fan, I would not make family Thanksgiving any year. Like,
Yeah.
because I would be there early with your buddies. I would stay downtown on Thursday. Everyone's off Friday, so who cares? Like, I would X my family Thanksgiving off the calendar. Like, it wouldn't exist to me. I probably would never see any of my, relatives for Thanksgiving, because in if you're in your 20s and you're downtown on Thanksgiving, there's no reason to go sit with your relatives. I'm sorry.
No.
There's enough going on down there. You'll forget the game within a couple hours.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Because of what everything that's going on. Yeah, for sure. Now there has been numerous years, 15 plus for me, that like I made that choice and X the family, went to the game. Now you got to consider a lot of it wasn't as crazy as many things to do at the time.
okay,
So you ended up at the casino.
yeah, which is fine
You know,
too.
everybody went to the casino because it's warm there. You can party. There's no time limit. Like everyone going to the casino. Now, a lot of bars were still open. A lot of them were packed. That you could get into the casino. You had plenty of room, and everybody there was coming from the game.
Yeah, I mean, a ton. Like, we parked down by like behind Basement Burger Bar. Like,
Oh, okay.
a ton of people were just walking down towards Monroe, like going to the casino after the game. Like,
Yeah. Warm.
also, I think it's a good idea too, because it takes like a half hour to an hour just to get out of downtown.
Oh, you might as well stay. Like to your point, like you stay
Yeah.
later and you're coming out early. So tell me about obviously, like I said, like what this again, Thanksgiving, it's always a big game here in Detroit. It magnifies even more in a fan opinion that it is the Packers. Obviously, it was a big game for us. And Fred, we just didn't produce, plain and simple. That's where my frustration lies. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that, a lot of bit about that. But what was the vibe? What was the take of the fan experience inside the game, and what you thought? Like, obviously the ref, the 2 4th downs were tough. I don't know if you were able to watch them back. I know that because we got screwed. I'm sure they showed it quite a bit. The timeout situation and then the non-touchdown touchdown situation. Like, what was the vibe inside the stadium when we got screwed on those 2 calls? Not blaming the refs, but go ahead.
I mean, this is one of the reasons. It is also one of the reasons why they most Lions fans do blame the refs and stuff. They only show things up on the screen that are,
For us.
pro Lions.
Yeah. Oh,
You're not going to show you. They don't even show replays like of a play. The touchdown, not touchdown. I don't know. I mean, like there's a lot going on. But yes, back to your question. Yes, the vibe of the people. Yeah, they were pissed. Like there was a lot of angry Lions fans. I started like it started with nothing, and then through the first half, I could feel the anger.
right.
And then once fourth quarter hit, it was all we got screwed again. Almost verbatim. The thing I texted you was as soon as we walked out of our seats, there was a couple walking out, and the lady says to her husband, "Well, there goes another game thanks to the refs." And I'm like, I don't know if that's the reason they lost. Maybe it didn't help. But here's my thing, Brad. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
It seems to me as if Detroit Lion fans only watch Detroit Lion games. Is that true?
No.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that.
It seems like they think that there's only
They're
referees
the only one.
at their game. I'm like, welcome to the NFL. Like, have you watched any other game?
Right.
Like last night, the Commanders game, brutal.
Right. Perfect example.
Now, I don't know if it cost anyone the game. I don't know. All I'm saying is there's brutal refereeing in a lot of games. It's not just the Lions game.
But unfortunately, Lions fans are always thinking that because of our situation and how we've been over the years, they always want to say that we are just screwed. I mean, we can go back. We can go back as far as, even farther, but the Calvin Johnson game in Chicago, the catch that was a catch. You know what I mean? And so it just, as a Lions fan, it always seems like there's these little things that happen that then they make, I don't know how the word I'm looking for, but they like, well, that happened, we're going to fix it so it won't happen again. But it starts with the Lions, and it was the catch. And there's so many things that I could bring up. And people will say it's Detroit in general. Right? They're going to bring up the perfect game. You know what I mean? In your world, like the Tigers game. You know what I mean? So, yeah, there is that feeling that that every Lions fan has, that we always get screwed. But Fred, I always come on here and I say you can't blame the refs. You can't blame the refs. You have to take the refs out of it. Thursday was hard, man. 2 4th downs. Those stops would have been huge. But in the same respect, we didn't make plays on offense. Plain and simple. We didn't make plays. The JMO 4th down drop was huge. Was it thrown behind his back? Yeah, but you're supposed to be a number 1 receiver in this league, and you're getting paid like a little behind you. Yeah, you got to catch the ball, man. You got to catch the ball. Like, was that Jared's fault? No. If it touches your hands, you have to catch it. That's it, right? Am I wrong in saying that?
Yeah, there was a couple drops throughout the game.
Yeah. Amon-Ra going out early didn't help.
That kind of deflated the crowd a little bit. Because it's been so early. Everybody was what didn't know what was going on, kind of. And I was even like, what just happened? I didn't get what was going on. And then it's
kind of the downside too of going to the game. You don't get to see all the little things, and as I've gotten older and gotten away from going to the games like I used to, there's just more on TV that you can take in. You understand what happened. You miss something, you kind of go back and rewind the things that you want to see. So that's the downside. There's an ups and downside to being at the game or watching it at home.
100%. You're not getting any commentary about, people are asking you at the game, like, hey, did you hear anything? You're on your phone trying to figure.
Yeah, I was going to say, or people are on X
Yeah.
talking about it.
I mean, when I grew up, as a Steeler fan, I would always, I did go to a lot of like Jet and Giant games, because growing up, games weren't on TV. A lot of my buddies had Jets, Giants tickets. Well, their family did. So I would go. I would always see the guy with the radio on, and I'd be like, why is he listening? Why would he listen? Now I would be that guy.
Yeah, I would be. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, because you want to know. You're on X or something and you're trying to pay attention. You want to see some of the replays, especially stuff that like happens, I forget what game it was. Was it the San Francisco game? The guy, what's it, Juwan Jennings?
Yes.
And that whole situation, like if you're at that game, you don't know what's going on until you're on your way home.
Yeah, you have no clue. So it didn't. I don't know, man. I think there's a bunch of things that need to be fixed with the Lions themselves. I don't think I'm going to say this as an outside fan. I don't think it's the end of the world. I don't think that I think they're going to make the playoffs? Probably. I don't think that it's you mail in the season. I don't think it's over. I think there's some changes that need to be made. I think that we're starting to see how important Ben Johnson was at times. I don't know. I'm not like a diehard Lions guy, so I don't know what people really are thinking. I will say this. I think the novelty's wearing off. The biting the kneecaps, the this, the that, like all that bullshit. I think from an outsider, all that novelty shit's wearing off now. Now it's like, dude, like
win games.
You're 7-5. Like,
not the end of the world.
No,
75 is not the end of the world. Like somebody was quoted like, "Oh, I know this sounds so ridiculous to say, but the Lions fans have been spoiled over the last 2 years, and now they think 7-5 is bad." Like
exactly. It's not.
It's not.
No,
it's not terrible. The problem is we're losing division games, and that's where it's. And to be honest with you, we haven't beat, in my opinion, the teams we needed to beat, the good teams. The Eagles, the Chiefs, the Packers.
Yeah.
And now comes Thursday where we got to play Dallas,
dude. And Dallas is hot. It'll be an interesting game on Thursday. That's a big game. Well, it's a huge game. Like,
Well, right now the Lions have a 31% chance of making the playoffs. That's where we're at right now. 31% chance. Now, you go to the casino on a much lower odds than that and think you're going to win, right? So 31% chance that the Lions will make the playoffs. It's definitely going to be a wild card. We're not going to win the division, right? That's going to be determined between obviously the Packers and the Bears, which I will fucking get into the Bears in a second, but let me finish the take on this. We start the week of football with the announcement that Ragnow is unretiring. Okay. That he's coming back to the field. Like, this is the answer. Like, okay, that's a hype thing. And I think that was more local here. Everyone's super excited, but in reality, appreciate the efforts, Frank, but you're coming off the bass boat and you're just going to jump on the field with these guys. Like, come on. You're older, you're beat up. There's a reason why you retired. I don't know why people think that Frank Ragnow's retirement was a surprise. It wasn't. We all knew it was coming. Like, I don't understand that. And then obviously after the game, he now says he has a grade 3 hamstring, which, if you know anything about that, it's like a serious problem. Like, grade 3 hamstring is like just meat falling off a bone, right? Like, it's bad. So I don't understand how that came about. And, the Lions fan in me says, oh, I know exactly what happened. These guys need some help.
Yeah.
Let's get back in. You now lose to the Packers. You get swept by the Packers. Sorry, guys. There's no real point for me to even make this effort. I'm out. That's what I think happened, right? I don't know.
I don't know
why. Why?
Listen, these guys, I believe, when they're retired and stuff, they're so banged up and shit that a grade 3 hamstring strain, they have no clue they even have. Like,
that's what they claim. I find that hard to believe. You have no clue. You have a grade 3 hamstring. Like, you haven't done anything. Are you working out? Or are you like, I know. Like I said, he's a big hunting, fishing guy.
He's probably not working out. It's probably not affecting him. Also, I don't know if that was a way out for him. I also don't think, on the other hand, that he was going to be the answer to all the problems.
No, come on. Like, your center is going to be the answer to the problem. Come on, that's just insane. Don't get me wrong. It's a very, very important position in the game of football, but it's not. I don't think it's changing to the point where we're just automatically going to win 5 more games because Ragnow's playing center. You know what I mean?
And I heard that,
but I think the better
he may have been moved anyway and wasn't going to be at center.
That I didn't hear that, but I could definitely get down with that. But the other thing too is, look, I struggled with Dan Campbell from the beginning. In fact, if you go back to the first couple of Mondays, y'all, when I was by myself, I actually posted a picture of him with a clown wig on because I wasn't buying. I wasn't buying it at first. Then he got me to buy in, right? It took time. Like, as a Lions fan, you don't believe anything until it's right in front of your face. But again, I'm going down to when Rod Marinelli took over the team, I actually had my own shirt made, right? And it said, "In Rod We Trust." That was a bust shirt. I mean, I wish you still had the shirt, right? So like, I posted the whole fiasco that's going on in Chicago, and I got a lot of comments and a lot of things said to me, and one of them was that I used that acronym.
Yeah.
And and it was crazy to me because this individual I think he's new to following me personally and new to following the podcast. It's kind of the reason why I wore the shirt today, Fred, is to, like, for those who are new to the show or new to following me on social media, is like, I'm diehard. Right. I'm not whining Lions fan. I don't use that acronym. In fact, I won't even say it. It's a lazy take, in my opinion, from Lions fans. And I think it's ridiculous because it's not true. It was far from the truth. I mean, this team is so much better, so different. The culture is different, but I question things, and I can as a fan. Am I excited about the shit that's going on right now? Absolutely not. Something has to change. And I think the problem here lies that I'm going to start this out by saying I'm a Dan Campbell fan, right? I truly, truly love Dan Campbell. Okay. I think he is the guy. I think he's the guy that can lead us to the dance. But the problem is, like, I think that he is starting to get a little bit in his own way. And this is very constructive criticism of Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes. I do like the aggression of going for it on 4th down. I do. But what I see now is this is not the team of the last 2 years. We are not equipped to go for it on 4th down like we have been in the past. If you recall, your safety valves on the 4th down are, number 1 is Amon-Ra St. Brown. Number 2 is Sam Laporta, and both individuals were out, right? Sam Laporta is out for the season. Amon-Ra, they say, may come back here soon. But those are your, like, safety valves, like, for that 4th down position. And now Brock Wright's out. You can't continue. This is not the same team. You have to adjust, and we're not adjusting. I feel like we just get that zeroed in, arrogant mindset, and we just do it, right? And we'll talk about this in a little bit, Fred, but very similar to the team that you root for. They just get in their mindset and just do what Steeler football is, or this is what Lion football is. Like, we are having a problem adjusting at halftime, and understand that we can't go for it on 4th down. I understand the aggression, but we just can't do it with the players that we have on the field. We have to adjust. We're not adjusting at halftime. And I'm telling you, and I say this every damn week, is us not making a move at the trade deadline was costly. You see teams right now making adjustments, right? Dallas made an adjustment at the trade deadline. Look what happened with them. I mentioned it a couple weeks ago when we got beat by Philadelphia. They made an adjustment at the trade deadline, and they've made their team better. We didn't give ourselves depth, and now we're bringing up random dudes that on Thanksgiving I had to look up because I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Right. And for somebody who's a diehard Lions fan to be like, who the fuck is this guy? That's a problem. Right. That's a problem. Thursday is huge. We have to beat Dallas. And Dallas is red hot right now. They looked so good on Thanksgiving. In fact, I would talk shit a little bit about the lineup for Thanksgiving. It ended up being the best day of football in this. The Bengals look great, right? Joe Burrow's back, right? And I don't know if I think he came back too late. I don't think they have a chance now. Kansas City getting shut down, still have a chance to make the playoffs, but more importantly, Fred, I talked about this at the beginning of the show. There's talks of me taking my shirt off for free Coney dogs for the people. And like we say this all the time. We do this podcast for the people.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what I'm going to do. If I can work out something, because that's what Ben did. And everybody gives me shit about this whole Ben. First of all, Chicago fans are infuriating. Like they are they're like a new kid with a toy. Right. And they get the new pair of shoes and think that they can run fast because it's the shoes. Like, am I a little pissed about the Ben Johnson situation? I guess when I took a couple of days to regroup, it is sour grapes. It is fucking sour grapes. It sucks. It sucked that Ben Johnson is in Chicago, right? Had he just stayed with us, do I think we could have figured this out? Yeah, I do think we could have figured this out. So yeah, I'm a little bitter, but the way he went about this situation is the thing that bothers me the most. And then we're going to talk about the Lane Kiffin situation because this is very similar in my opinion, right? And that's something I think needs to change in both the NFL and the NCAA. Ben had one foot out when we played against the Commanders, right? And that was the problem. And so now you're dead to us. Like you gave up on us early and you went to seek other things, and now everything seems to be working out, and they beat the Eagles. But the thing is I know this sounds stupid because I was pissed that we lost the Eagles, but the Eagles are showing that they're not a very good team either, Brad. They've scored 13.5 points in the past 2 weeks. Are the Bears that good, or are the Eagles that bad on Black Friday?
I think the Bears are a little better than the credit we give them.
I'm not giving them shit, by the way, but go ahead.
I think that listen, I think that this whole week of football was dominated by dogs.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was a week of dogs. There was a couple favorites here and there, the Niners, the Seahawks, a couple of those games that were all favorite, no problem games. But the rest, all the games were dominated by dogs. So maybe, I don't know if that was the case, that it was a week of dogs, or, I mean, I don't think Philly is as good as they were, but I don't think they're bad. I don't think Chicago's as bad as they were, and I don't think they're great. I don't see the Bears winning a playoff game, but now when you look at the way these teams have played, it's well, then who's gonna win a playoff game? Last night,
and then the NFC is so tight, and you can't figure out who's going to be. That's why the 31% doesn't mean shit to me right now. I still think we're okay, and the Rams were starting to pull away, and then they turn around and lose to the Panthers.
Yeah,
what happened to the Rams defense yesterday? I don't get it. Offensively, Stafford looked good, but he had 2 picks, I believe.
Yeah,
one was a batted one, but still, he played well. I think he played well. Their defense kind of let him down.
Yeah,
but you can't expect to throw 2 picks and win a game, though.
It was raining. It was, I don't know if that matters condition wise, but it was a shitty day. Bryce Young played way above his potential. He had a great game. But Danny Dimes goes down to that. They're not even in first place anymore. The Broncos.
They're tied, right?
Yeah, Jacksonville owns the tiebreaker on that. The Broncos looked okay. They looked okay last week. But it was, and then we'll see the Pats tonight. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants cover. And just what I was saying a couple of weeks ago about like the Pats, the Broncos, the Colts. Come on, dude. I just don't see it.
Your take on the Ravens lost on Thanksgiving to a Cincinnati team.
So they lost to Joe Cool, 5 turnovers, maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
So I'm not gonna. They still go on a run. They still win the division. Which if we get over to the Steelers now,
yeah, we're gonna go ahead.
If you told me that the Steelers would lose to the Bills, that's not a surprise. That's and it's nothing to sneeze at. It's not like, oh, wow.
No, and I guarantee at the beginning of the season, like we all do, every fan, you go through that schedule, right? And you're like, win, loss, win, loss. You had this game, you had the Bills as a loss.
Yes. But then when you watch the game, it was brutal to watch that. I was texting back with some Steeler fans and stuff, and like the second half was one of the worst halves of football that I've seen in a long time. It was.
Yeah. Let me do this real quick because I really want to talk about the Steelers and I have a lot of questions about that. But I want to bring up one last stat before we get into this, and it's going to go back to the Packers. Or I'm sorry, I'm going to go back to the Bears really quick. I know I'm beating a dead horse with this whole fucking Bears thing because that's how fucking pissed I was this weekend to listen to these idiots. But let me just read something to you, Fred. If your quarterback on your team was 17 for 36. 47% completion rate, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Would you think he's like the MVP of the season?
No.
Okay, well, that's Caleb Williams' stats against the fucking Eagles. Okay, so Bears fans, calm down. You ran the shit out of the ball, thanks to an ex-Lion, and your offensive line looked good. Your quarterback is still questionable, and guess who wins playoff games? Good quarterbacks. So if you make it to the playoffs, good luck, like Fred said. You need it to be at home. I'll tell you that much. That right there. But I'm done, and I am officially rooting for the Packers this week for the first time in my entire life. By the way, so good luck to you, Scott Koski. I'm pulling for you, guy. But okay, sorry, done with the Lions for right now. I'm sure I'm going to bring something else up about the Bears or somebody or free hot dogs or something. I know I will. Fred. I feel bad. Steelers lost. Kind of knew it. Is Aaron Rodgers done? Like this is it, right? After that second half, is he done?
I would hope so. For his sake and for everyone else's sake. It's brutal to watch. I don't like. Again, I will say this though. There's not a lot of throws downfield. So, you can't really gauge him against another quarterback with the offense that we run. He has no escapability, obviously, but holds on to the ball a little too long at times. But I think he's smarter than your average quarterback. The thing is, yes, he's done, but so is Arthur Smith. So they were chanting "Fire Tomlin" in Pittsburgh yesterday.
Getting ready to go on 22 seasons with a winning record, and then they want him gone.
Well,
right? Am I right? 20. I think they're tied with the Cowboys at 21 seasons. This would be 22. They would be the number one team.
How many first round? How many 9-8s and first round knockouts are okay? I agree with what you're saying about the winning record thing. If you sign a coach and you say he'll never have a losing season, I think everyone signs up for that.
Everyone's going to take it. Now, I'm a big fan of Barstool and Jersey Jerry. No relation to Jersey Fred, though root for the same team.
Yes.
He's on Twitter calling for Howard.
Well, at this point, there's no reason not to. I don't know if Chill will. no one knows really what he can do because we haven't seen a lick. Like the crazy thing was yesterday when Rodgers went down with the nose injury.
Yeah, we saw that.
They bring Money Mason. He's 0 for 2 with a pick. Like, and then Rodgers comes back in. But like it was just like it was brutal to watch. And here's the thing with the Steelers. That was,
but they hung in the first half.
they were up.
You're like, okay.
They were up 7-3 at half, right? So yeah, it looked great, and then the second half, first play, strip sack, fumble, touchdown.
No, nothing worse. Really, nothing worse. Like, you're just so excited. You're winning the first half. You're like, if we just maintain, and then you get a play like that, it's just like, dude, take the wind out of my sails, guy.
You're up 7-3. You get the kick. I'm like, we get the kick. Like, we're up 7-3
on the board.
Fucking strip sack, fumble, touchdown. So but here's the thing about what's going on with the Steelers as a fan and as a viewer. Even when the Steelers are calling the right plays, they're still getting beat to the spot. Even when they're calling the right schemes on defense, they're still getting beat.
Right.
So that's a frustrating thing. It's like you're calling the right defense and still getting beat. You're calling the right offensive play and not making it happen. So
okay, so with that being said, Fred, as a fan of the NFL, and understand, what I hear you saying to me, this isn't a coaching thing. This is a player thing.
Well, both.
Because if you're making the right calls, but the guys aren't getting to the spot, then what more can you do as a coach?
Yeah, and look, it's both though, because then you're not making the right call and you're just totally oblivious to what's going on. But what I'm saying is, there were points in times where we did call the right scheme and still got beat. Right. Yeah, that's a player problem. I get it, but that wasn't every play. I just mean even when we were at our best, we got beat. Even when our defensive line is shedding blocking, getting into the backfield, we're missing a tackle. It's nothing was just going right. And I think that Arthur Smith is terrible. You can't win NFL games by throwing the ball under 5 yards for the entire game. That can't be a game plan. You might as well just.
Who tried to do that? Who tried to do that? The University of Michigan.
Yes, exactly. And they had a running game. The thing is, the Steelers don't have a running game.
Right.
Now, it's like the Tim Tebow offense, where he's not going to throw the ball downfield.
Right.
It's just so it's frustrating to watch, and I just they're not going to make the playoffs. They're not, obviously. I've said they weren't going to win the division. They're not going to win the playoffs. They may not win 3 more games. They may not. This may be his first losing season.
Oh, you don't think he's going to do it? Well, because you have the Ravens next.
Yeah.
And then who do you have after that?
Well, we also have the Lions. We also have the Ravens again. We also have, we're just not gonna they play at Miami. I think Miami is good again.
Yeah, I don't get. And this is what I don't. And we're gonna get into Monday Monster. Then we're gonna talk about NCAA football. But this is why the NFL is so good, in my opinion. You see these teams that get hot. Week 1, we clearly thought nobody in the NFC can touch Buffalo and Baltimore. Week 1, that game was the most phenomenal NFL game that we've saw all year. We thought that was it. Those two are going to fight and they're going to win it. Now you look back and you're in week 13. We have no clue. Right? That's why I love the NFL so much. Anything is possible. They say it all the time. It's very cliche, but it's any given Sunday. Like,
Yeah,
you look what the Panthers did to the Rams. Like I didn't see that coming at all. Nobody did.
I mean, this is one of the most wide open seasons I think we've seen in a long time.
100%. Because
the
the Chiefs still have a chance. They have to win on Sunday.
The Pats had their reign of knowing that they were going to be in the AFC Championship game kind of deal. Then,
Right.
And the Chiefs and like the Bills, in the NFC, same thing. You knew like there were teams that you knew were going to be going in deep into the playoffs. And now like this year, like I have no clue what's going on. It's not very betting friendly.
Oh my God, hammered, bro. I have like $7 in my FanDuel account right now.
I did hit last night with Washington, the over and a McLaren touchdown.
Nice hit, by the way.
Yes. That was my 5-star bailout special. Commanders in the over. I love them last night. But like, so I mean, yeah, it's not better friendly. It's really like there are no locks. I'm talking about. I'm not talking betting. I just mean in general. Like it's not like there's many games where you're like there's no way a team can win. Now, Titans are pretty shitty. If the Jets were playing a good team, that would be terrible for them. I mean, they won the Super Bowl yesterday. So I watched the end of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, nobody in the stadium. It's raining. It's cold. It was just brutal. It was just brutal all around.
Right.
But they won the Super Bowl yesterday.
Yes, Super Bowl. Okay. That's it for the NFL. God, Thursday. We got to win. That's all I can say. We got to win on Thursday. Got to beat the Cowboys. All right. Monday's Monster is brought to you by Licavoli's Market. Fred, I didn't have this on the notes until I saw this play. First off, shout out to Detroit Catholic Central for beating a dominating Cass Tech team.
Nationally.
Fred, nationally ranked. Fred, I saw a stat yesterday. Cass Tech beat their opponents 626 to like 114 this year. That was the point differential. Isn't that crazy? But they go into Ford Field against Detroit Catholic Central, and Catholic Central said not today.
As we call it. CC, as we call it.
CC. And first off, I got to give a shout out to, and I'm going to probably butcher his last name because the high school, I can't think of the name of it. The high school show, the local high school show, spelt his name wrong, and then I found it right. But it's Ben Eziuka, and he's committed to Penn State. A big defensive lineman, Fred. Check out this play he had in the state championship game last night.
Tabron's got to evacuate the pocket. And Jalen Lewis won't let him go.
Look at the big fella.
Look at Penn Eziuka go! It's a big man pick six in the state championship game.
How awesome is that for the big fella? Going to Penn State, defensive lineman gets a touchdown in the championship game. That's Monday's Monster, man. You got to give it to the big fella. First ever touchdown, of course.
Yes. Awesome.
So shout out to CC and their state championship win last night. I didn't see it coming. Again, that's why I got to quit betting. Of course, I didn't bet on that game, by the way. Okay, moving on. NCAA football rivalry week. Okay, Fred, did you see how hammered I got on TikTok for saying that the NFL is better than college football?
Yes,
it's hilarious. You're like, but the college players are all about tradition.
Yeah.
4 years ago, 5 years ago, kid from Michigan, he plays for Michigan, hates Ohio State. Now you got dudes from Florida. It's all about money now, just like the NFL. But the upside is there's more of a contract in the NFL, and these guys stay longer. The competition, they play bullshit games. Like it's ridiculous that people think that college football is better. I understand the argument back in the day when it was like, I'm a Michigan man. Like, what, are you going to stay more than 1 year? Like, how Michigan are you, guy? You know what I mean? Like, ridiculous. But
Yeah,
I think go ahead.
I would say that I understand where they're coming from. College football, though, it's a whole nother animal. Yeah, I feel like the Midwest and South, it's like gigantic. What I will say is, I understand the argument. Me personally, I like the NFL. You know,
Yep.
do I watch college football? Of course I do. I'm a sports junkie. Me personally, I just prefer to watch NFL games over college games. That's it. Nobody has to get yelled at. Nobody has to get their panties in a bunch. It is what it is. Like, we can disagree to agree, whatever, agree to disagree. But I feel that way. I will say this: I lean towards college basketball over pro.
I would agree with you. I think a lot of people would agree with you there. March Madness is probably one of the greatest sporting events of the entire year. I'm more into, over the past 2-3 years, into the NBA too, because both my boys are too, right? Christian and Max are both into NBA, so that pushes me more into the NBA.
And the Pistons, good.
And the Pistons, that helps. That helps a lot, actually. But I guess the other controversy, before we get into the Michigan-Ohio State game, the Lane Kiffin thing has to be talked about. I don't understand this, and this is why I'm asking you. I'm glad we get an opportunity. Again, I say this all the time. It's why you're here, right, Fred? Because to help me out to understand this stuff. Because Lane Kiffin takes a job at LSU. He's no longer coaching at Ole Miss. Ole Miss said the best season of the history of the school, which is good for those kids, right? But now you abandon the kids, take their coaches, and go to LSU. And then I related this thing to the Ben Johnson. That's not as crazy as the Ben Johnson thing, but like, why is it, Fred, both college and NFL, why are other teams allowed to talk to coaches when the season is still going on? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, it should not be that way. Lane Kiffin should not be interviewing for jobs while he has to finish the season. Ben Johnson should not be interviewing for jobs until the season is over. Like, if you really want him, you'll wait. It's like an employee down here. Like, I'm going to finish out what I have.
I agree. And even growing up, when anything had happened, I'm talking pre-college football playoffs. Like, guys would not coach in their bowl games, and I would be like, that's crazy to me. Like, first of all, you don't have to start going through the playbook of your new school tomorrow.
Right.
Like, come on. I always thought that was crazy. Now, a lot of, and then players would not play that were going to the draft in these useless bowl games.
Right.
I mean, I'm not a fan of that either. Well, I
think it's also different too. It's like, if my team, I'm a coach, and my team is like, okay, like you're playing in the Solo Cup Bowl at Ford Field. Yeah. Like, okay, guy, like, whatever. You're in the playoffs. You're one of the top 12 teams in the country. And as crazy. As a player, like, you get to have a relationship, especially in college. You have a relationship. You're there because of that coach for a good majority of the reason, right? You get recruited by this guy. He's telling you everything, right, wrong, and different. He's helping you out. He's like a father figure to you. And then he leaves right before the biggest games of your entire, like, why is this okay? Why is this like,
I don't acceptable? Know. When I read the bottom of the ticker come up and it said that he was going to LSU, and then it says he will not coach in the CFP. And I'm like, what? Like, that is so crazy to me that, like, I'm surprised that, and maybe I don't watch talking heads on television a lot. I rarely watch any sports talk shows, so I don't know. are people losing their mind because of this? They should be.
Yeah. Oh, they
I
are. I mean, did you see the video? I mean, all I do is watch Talking Heads. And did you see the video of the Ole Miss fans flipping him off as he was getting on the plane?
I saw the heading and I didn't even click onto it.
Yeah.
But I was like, that's crazy to me, man. Like, like that's big time fucking. That's big time. And
Big time fuck you stuff, right?
Like, huge fuck you.
If I'm a player, if I'm the children, the quarterback, the guy from Ferris State, right? Like, if that's me, I'm just like, dude, what are you doing? Like, what's going on? Why, like, you tell me to focus. This is the only thing I'm going to focus on. I've been listening to you the entire year. You do this, you do this, you do this, and then you leave. Like, this is not right. It's not right.
Think
the fact that the NCAA lets this go on, or the NFL lets this go on, is absolutely asinine to me. It's stupid.
Yeah, it makes no sense. There's no. I don't even think that, like you said, like, because you start to get one foot out of the door. I don't think that, like you said, I don't think they should communicate. I don't think they should until everything is done with. Like, you guys can talk to Lane Kiffin the second week in January. Like, it makes
on his flight home from the last game. Like, whatever. Yeah.
Like,
but you know what? And this makes me think even more. Like, we teach our children, right? Like, our children to be like, live up to their obligations, right? Like, let's say you have a young child and they're playing baseball for the first time, and halfway through the season he says, "Dad, I hate baseball. It's so boring. I don't want to play." And a good parent says to their child, like, "Look, you finish out your season. You finish out your obligation to your team. And then after that, you do what you want to do. We don't have to play baseball ever again, but you made a commitment, right?" And we want to talk about players and their commitment. Like, as a player, you want to be committed. Like, how am I supposed to be committed when I see the guy who, if that was my dad or my coach and he's not committed or he's not all in, what's that tell the player?
Well, also, he was the guy who brought you there. He came into your living room and talked to your parents, like, and recruited.
About tradition, about loyalty, about, like, it's all a joke, man. It's a fucking money game, and it's absolutely insane. And the governing bodies of the NFL and the NCAA have to make a change. This has to change. This can't be right.
Yeah, it's just not. It's not. First of all, it's not a good look.
It's a terrible look.
It's a terrible look. And I thought it was awesome when he went to Ole Miss to, like, re-energize that team and the culture there, and really, like, bring it to where it is now. I mean, and fairly quick. Like, so it would have been interesting to have him just. I'm not even saying I mean never leave. Not never, but like give it a couple runs. Maybe you win a title and leave or something like that. That's different. But, like, to bring Ole Miss to where they are now with this new college football playoffs, like, this is it now. Like, this is the highest. This is where you took them up to here, like, finish the job, and I'm even saying this. Don't even leave, like, for LSU. Like, I don't like finish what you're doing there. Like, win them a championship or get them deep a couple times and then do what the fuck you want. But like you said, Brad, it has nothing to do with anything. Like, there is no loyalty with coaches. There's no loyalty with players. We know that. And so like there is zero loyalty. And that goes from college all the way up to the pros. Like, I've made this comment to you a bunch of times when we used to talk about baseball and stuff. And it's like, contracts mean nothing. Like, you signed a deal. Oh, Soto signed for 8 years. Okay. After 3, he's going to demand a trade. Like what does it all, or he wants to restructure his contract. It's like, no, the contract you signed, you did that. Like, I didn't force you to sign for 8 years. You wanted 8 years. You signed for it. Now, after 2 years, you want to restructure it, or you're going to demand a trade and sit out. Like, what the fuck is that? So, like, we might as well just convert back and just downgrade and just start signing 1-year deals. Everyone gets a 1-year deal, and you play.
Right.
And your deal is based
because
on
then teams won't be obligated to pay so much money. You look at Michigan State right now. Like, they just fired that jackass, and now they owe him $40 million. And now we're in the hole. Now they're in the hole for that. Like,
Michigan State was the only team from Michigan to win this weekend.
That's false, Fred.
Oh, Ferris State. Yes, but no, but that's like that's a gimme. Yeah, come on. Round 2.
We were down 14-0, Fred.
I was never worried. But you know, like, they had a good time. They had their shirts off too.
Yeah.
Maybe they were getting hot dogs. So I don't know. But like, I just feel like you don't sign a contract, you get a 1-year salary, and then the next year you get reevaluated, raising, or, you know, like, whatever you want, and just keep it moving. Because, and I understand why you want multi-year deals. It's for security. I get it. I understand that. But the fact that you want a multi-year deal for security, but me as an owner, I have no security of you staying.
Yep.
So it doesn't really make sense.
And the other thing too is, like, you know, these coaches, they get their, like, I get it. It's all about money. It is all about money. But, like, the understanding that, like, all 3 of these will give you a great example. Like, regardless of what Ben Johnson does, and I told you, I promised I wouldn't bring up Bears thing, but I told you I probably would. But regardless of what happens, let's put what he's doing right now in Chicago out of the picture. Okay. If Ben Johnson was to stay in Detroit and won a Super Bowl as the offensive coordinator, the man would be considered a living legend in this town. It does, without doubt. Aaron Glenn, same situation. I know damn well he wishes he was still a defensive coordinator in Detroit right now, and then what he's doing in New York. And Lane Kiffin as well. If Lane Kiffin won a national championship with Ole Miss, he would be a god in that town, a literal god. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, they got to chase the bag.
Chew of him up. I will disagree with the Aaron Glenn comment.
You think Aaron loves where he's at?
100%.
Because of the bag or because of the situation?
I think because he's a head coach for a New York football team, instead of a defense coordinator. I think in his progression of, you know, his plan in life, I think, yes, he's very happy to be a head coach. I don't think he regrets leaving Detroit. Nothing against Detroit. I just don't.
I regret, like, being in a winning position.
I don't think he regrets that.
You think he'd take a losing season over a winning season to be a head coach?
100%.
Fair.
He's not in Tennessee. Like, he's a New York. He's a New York football coach right now, head coach in New York. I mean,
it's the Jets.
It's a big deal though. The team, give him a couple years and they're in the playoffs.
Okay. One last thing with college football, and then I want to talk about a couple movies I watched. Well, I actually watched a lot of movies, but I wanted to share them with you. Michigan, Ohio State, kind of played out the way I thought it would. Did I hope they would win? Yeah, sure. You know, I took Michigan in the points, lost. I'll tell you what, if Michigan wants to keep a better team won, let me just say that by far, better team won. Michigan's terrible. If we talked about this very early in the podcast this year, is like, will Bryce Underwood stay? And I think that if we don't make a coaching change, he's gone. Sharon Moore experience is done. In my opinion, I think that they made that hire with unknowing what the sanctions and everything that was going to go down. They didn't want to make a big move for somebody, a big name, until they knew how everything shook out. Everything is now shaken out. We've determined that Sharon Moore can't win big games, and they have done a terrible job developing Bryce Underwood as a passing quarterback. They've like slowly tried to make him a game manager-ish type thing. We can't throw the ball. I mean, obviously Marsh is a amazing receiver, but I think they're wasting away his talents. And if I was his father, I would be questioning as what the intentions are with my son for the next 2 to 3 years. But Sharon Moore has to go. That's been cute. That's a nice little ride that he had, but we need to make a change at the head coaching position at the University of Michigan.
So maybe he ends up with Lane Kiffin in LSU again, where he was supposed to be. No, I'm talking about Bryce.
Oh, God, that would be terrible. But again, to your point, he's not tied to anything. He could do that, right?
Anybody can do anything.
Absolutely ridiculous. All right, Fred, I watched a couple movies, and I will end on this because this is the longest pod we've ever recorded as we go on. But I knew it was going to be. I even told you last night. I even tried to get you on an emergency pod, but apparently you thought moving across the country is more important than this podcast, which is another thing we'll probably have to discuss later. But it's all about you and your family and not about me because I was fired up. But all right. I saw some good flicks, in between watching football. Like it snowed, we stayed in starting. So, All Her Fault
on Prime.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's with Sarah Snook. She's from Succession. About a family. Go ahead.
Sibian from Succession.
Yep. Siobhan. Yeah. So they lose their son gets kidnapped. And the ending is mind blowing. So you got to check that one out. Beast in Me.
Okay.
On Netflix. Okay. That's with Claire Danes. Claire Danes.
Yes.
She's a writer. She's an author, Pulitzer writer. And she ends up moving next door to a guy who is a
creepy neighbor guy.
Creepy neighbor who is suspected of killing his wife.
Okay.
Who plays a phenomenal part. I forget the actor's name. He does a very good job. Good show. I liked it. It's a good watch. It's like eight episodes, something like that. 6-8 episodes. Your typical Netflix series. Same with All Her Fault. The next one, super creepy. Have you heard of Good American Family?
I don't believe so.
So it's with Ellen Pampamo. That's who plays on a Grey's Anatomy.
Yes.
Meredith Grey. Okay.
Yes.
So what's that? Pompano. So she and her one more time.
Pompeo.
There we go. She and her husband adopt a child with what they perceive to have as dwarfism.
We did watch that. We watched that.
But end up being it's a true story.
Yes, it is a true story. That was Mary watched that. I saw some of it a while back, though. I feel like
I think it's an older one.
Very creepy, and I couldn't watch it.
So Sarah quit watching after the first episode, and then I got drawn into it. So I kept watching. I figured, okay, this is a perfect show that I can watch. That Sarah, I can just watch it when she's doing something. And I could, but then she as she's doing stuff from Thanksgiving, she comes in, then she gets back into it because it was really creepy at the beginning with the demeanor of the kid. It was just weird. But being that it was a true story made me even more like, holy shit.
That was very crazy.
And then last but not least, I watched season 3 of The Diplomat. That's a great show on Netflix.
I haven't seen season 3 yet.
Okay. So you watched 1 and 2?
Yes.
Perfect. You'll like season 3. And I did read last night. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I hate Kerry Russell. I just hate her character. She's like rough around the edges, like, brute, like kind of like, I just hate that shit.
You're gonna run a brush through your hair, girl.
Yeah. But great show.
Yeah.
But that's why
her husband Hal is probably Hal. He's one and the current president's husband. Those are my two favorite characters on the show. Absolutely. Yeah. So there you are, guys. All Her Fault, Beast and Me, Good American Family, Diplomat 3, awesome stuff I watched recently. Fred, I know you got a lot on your plate. Drive safe. I'll see you soon. Any last words as a before you part New Jersey?
No, I think I've said enough.
Fair enough. All right, Fred. I'll see you next week, my brother. I'll see you in person, hopefully next week as well, man. Take care, brother. Drive safe. Buddy.